Hello, welcome back to Let's Talk HP Lovecraft and Let's Talk Short Fiction. Today, continuing my explorations of the complete fiction of HP Lovecraft. And today we're going with The Alchemist, written in 1908 but not published until 1916. So he was 17 or 18 years old when the book, or short story, was written and published many years later in United Amateur. So the story, in modern times, this narrator, Count Antoine de C, and he's recounting the story of how a curse was laid upon his family more than 600 years ago. The entire story is set in the family castle, which was once a noble palace, but has fallen into ruin over the centuries, and now it's down to the point where there's only one usable tower where he is living alone. Just after the death of his last surviving servant. And Antoine tells us the story of how a wizard slash alchemist, Michael Mavis, is unjustly killed when it is believed that he has sacrificed a child of the family named Godfrey as part of his wizardry. They unjustly kill him, at which time his son, Charles Le Sorcier, puts a curse on the sons of the noble family and declares that forever they should die at the age of 32, which is the age of his father when he died. 600 years later, as Antoine approaches his 32nd year, he becomes increasingly desperate to find a way to beat this curse. He's been exploring the ruins of his castle, the shut-off areas, the crumbled areas, and eventually he finds a hidden chamber which takes him down into this old dungeon on the lower levels of the castle that he had never seen and had probably not been entered for more than 400 years at least. There, he meets a man, a mysterious, creepy, emaciated, skeletal man who is just about to kill him. Antoine, he manages to kill this person first by setting him on fire, but before the man dies, he declares himself as Charles Le Sorcier, who has successfully used alchemy to create the elixir of life, which has enabled him to, each 32 years or so, come out of hiding and kill the child, the man of the house of the family, and fulfill his father's curse. So yeah, it's a short and simple story. It's one of Lovecraft's first published stories, or actually oldest published stories. As I was pointing out at the beginning, it was written in around 1908 but not published until 1916. So he was a teenager when it was written, and it shows. His talents are not fully formed here. It's pretty simple, but yet it's pretty well written for a 17 or 18-year-old as far as I'm concerned. I wish I could write like this when I was 17. I wish I could write like that now. The story itself is pretty predictable. The last line of the story is where it is revealed that the mysterious man in the dungeon is Charles Le Sorcier, and it had become sort of painfully obvious about a page before that. It reminds me of the Beast in the Cave, which I reviewed 2 days ago, and in that case as well, the crux of the story is revealed in the last line, but it's pretty obvious before we get there. Doesn't work so well on paper, but I think it's actually a pretty good type of ending for a movie or a TV show. It sort of reminds me of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where they reach the hidden chamber where the cup of Christ is thought to be held, and he meets this 800-year-old knight who has lived there for centuries and centuries, just to fulfill his destiny, which is to guard the cup. And it's sort of a similar situation here, but it's flipped, where the being who has lived all these years has done it out of evil, out of spite, out of a desire to have revenge. And alchemy aside, it's interesting how when people have something like revenge to live for, they find a way to survive. So yeah, guys, despite its shortcomings, it's still an enjoyable read. Take you 15-20 minutes at the most, so if you have that amount of time to set aside, go ahead and read it. What have you got to lose? Alright guys, so that has been my review of The Alchemist by HP Lovecraft. I'll be doing the complete fiction of HP Lovecraft over the next few months here on Let's Talk. And if you think you like that sort of thing, please take a moment to subscribe. We recently hit 502 subscribers, so we are on our way to our next goal of 750 subscribers. I would like to reach that in the coming year, 2019, which is right around the corner. So, so stick around, join us, and we'll try to do our best to entertain you and maybe teach you something too. So, all right, guys, talk to you later.